Okay, good morning, first grade and first grade parents. This is our day 2 instructional packet video, and I apologize. When I looked at day 1, I noticed I was cut off for most of it, so all you saw was my lips. I think I raised the camera enough for this one. I guess we're all learning as we go. So looking at our day 1 ELA focus. Again, I told you, a lot of this is going to be review. We are looking for our first ELA sheet today at the 2 vowel digraphs. That's what we call a vowel that kind of changes its sound when it goes with another letter. And we're looking specifically at AY and AI. And our focus for this sound was when AY is together, it joins and makes one sound, which is the A, long A sound. Also the same for AI. When those 2 letters join, they don't keep their individual sounds, they go together to make a long A. Now, certainly there are some words that this is not the case for. It seems like in our English language, when we're learning it, we always have that exception to the rule. It makes it really hard for those first graders to read because they'll learn this, what we call a rule. AY always says A, AI always says A, and then we'll have a word that just doesn't follow the rule. But for our focus today, we're focusing on those words that do follow the rule. So you're going to have in your packet a word search with a list of AI and AY words. So if instead of just saying to your kid, hey, here we go ahead and find these words. I would start out with, can you read the words? Some things that would really be helpful if you have a crayon, a pencil, obviously you have a pencil if you're doing the sheets, a highlighter. Now I know we don't all have the same resources, so really whatever you have. When you're looking at a word, I'm just going to put this up here, like male. Some things that you can really get into with that word would be having them box up that AI or color it with a crayon or color it with a highlighter. That way we call that training our brain so that when we see that AI, we don't want to look at it as 2 separate letters anymore. We want to look at it as one sound that those 2 letters are making. So what I see sometimes is a kid will try to sound this out and they'll go ill, and then they're lost. But a reminder can be, well, remember, AI goes together to make the long A sound. And then when they see that visually boxed up or colored with like a light yellow crayon or something, then you can tell them that word only has 3 sounds. Now you can sound it out. Ale, male. So that's just a little extra that you can do with the sheets instead of just saying, here, find the words. Because what I often find is they'll find the words, but maybe they can't read them. So that's how you can kind of bring that back to the focus of the AI or AY. Some additional things that you can do, just branching off of that sheet. If you have a whiteboard at home, use the whiteboard. If you don't and you have construction paper, use construction paper. If you have chalk, you can do this outside on the sidewalk. If you just have regular tablet paper, you can do this. This is just 2 ways that we can look at these sounds. We call these word webs or word family webs, and then word ladders. So I'm going to go through this just like I would in the classroom. So I would say, all right, the first sound that we're focusing on is AY. When those 2 letters go together, they say A. Repeat after me. I'll have the kid repeat that. And then I would say, can you think of any words that have that A sound? Some of your kids may just start giving them to you. Some may need a little prompting. If you need prompting, I would say, I think that today is Friday. Can we add that word? And then how do we spell D-A? Now what we really want them to get out of this is that all they're adding really is that duh, and we want them to know A-Y. So we want them to be able to kind of just get that quickly. All right, now you have day. Can you make another word? And a hint can be, can you think of a rhyming word? Can you take off the duh and put another sound there? And they might say, oh, May, okay? Well then, bam, you can talk about nouns and proper nouns and say, well, May is the name of a special month, so we need an uppercase letter. And then some of them may start getting blends in there, like stay. And again, when you're doing this with them, let them write the word first before you do it. That way they're pulling out those skills instead of just writing down what you already wrote. And then you might say, oh, I know something that you like to do. You love to play. Can you write the word play? And once they do this, have them look at this. What's the same in all of those words? It's the AY. So then have them go around and box that up, because again, we want them to know that that AY most of the time in a word is going to say that long A sound. So then we'll just do the same thing with AI. Now you may have to help them a little bit with this one at first. So maybe you'll say male. Again, have them box it up. If they can't think of anything, just give them some hints. What do you do on a boat that rhymes with male? Sail. All right, so we're going to take off the in male, put a s in sail, and look at that. Our ending is the same. So just kind of go through that with those. And if you need a word list, just look at the sheet that was given to you. There's a bunch of words on there. And then one thing I would point out to them is that when we look at the AY and AY and AI, they're both making the same sound. What's different about them? The AIs or the AYs look like they're always at the end of the word. Well, that's not always the case. We can't say always, but most of the time they're at the end of the word. And when we look at the AI, that's in the middle of a sound. So when I look at stay, it's A, and the AY is at the end. When I look at male, it's ale, and it's in the middle. And then we can do something, again, just on whatever you have, word ladders. And on this, I usually give the children the first word. So for AY, I might start with day, and I would say, can you spell day? Let them do that on their own. All right, now, the next word I want you to write is the word that we make when we take off the D in day and grab S and put it at the beginning. And then you'll see them go say. Good, can you spell it? And what we want them to know is this part stays the same. All we are changing is that beginning sound. And then something you can add is, okay, we have the word say, A. What if I put a T after the S or after the S? So we have A, stay. Good. Can you write the word? Stay. Good. And then just keep going down with different words. So next you might say, I'm going to take off the st in stay and put tray. And when we look at this, we call this a word ladder because each word is just changing one part of the word, but keeping one of the sounds. When we look at AI, I'm just going to give you a list for that. So you might use these words: rain, change it to pain, change it to paint, and change it to faint. So that's our AI focus. Your next ELA sheet for that day is a writing sheet. Now this one is where would you go to look for a rainbow? So before you just have the kids, boom, start writing, ask them some guiding questions like, well, where are you usually when you see a rainbow? What's happened right before you've seen a rainbow? And hopefully they can tell you, it was raining and then it was sunny. Okay, great, so where are we looking? In the sky. Okay, good. So kind of just guide them through just some simple brainstorming. Now when they write, they may take this a couple of different ways. They may want to make a fantasy story where they found a rainbow with a leprechaun and got his gold at the end. Awesome. They may want to make it realistic, like I was playing in my yard and it began to rain. So I went back in the house and then the sun came out and I noticed over my yard in the sky there was a rainbow. Oh good, that's realistic. That's fine too. Ask them if they can give details. If they just say, I would look at the sky. Okay, can you tell me a little bit more? See if they can tell you what colors. See if it's a story about them. What were they doing before this happened? Just kind of pull those details out. And what we're looking for with the writing is that they remember uppercase for the beginning of their sentence, the correct end mark, meaning if they ask a question, it's a question mark. If it's a telling sentence, it's a period. And if it's an exclamatory sentence where they're using an emotion, they got that exclamation point. Are they finger spacing between the words? We don't want them cramming them all together. I always tell my room, I don't spell for them. I make them sound it out. They may fight you on that, but tell them, no, you're in first grade, you can sound those words out. We call that their kid spelling. Certainly when you're done, you can go through and write the adult spelling on top of it, but let them try to sound those out. Does their sentence make sense? Do they have verb agreements? Are they saying, I was playing in the yard instead of I were playing in the yard? So just make sure that their sentence is making sense. And then they can draw a picture and color a picture to go with that writing. Okay, last, I'm going to talk about our math for the day. I'm trying to keep these short. I talk a lot, so I'm going to try to keep these under 10 minutes. So looking at our math for the day, they only have one side set up for today because that side has quite a few problems. What we're looking at on this side is totals greater than 10. So they're adding 2 or 3 add-ins. So let me show you what I mean. So they may have a problem like this, 6 plus 7, or they may have a problem like this. So here, just basic facts up to 20. And here we have adding 3 numbers. There's only 2 of those on the sheet. So what we're looking for here, you may have some students who do and use what we call in my room MM. That means they're using mental math. Boom. Some of your kids may just know 6 plus 7. They may just be able to tell you it's 13 and they know it. Great. They know their facts. Some kids aren't there yet. So some kids may need to make a model. Now again, when they're making a model, we just want them drawing circles. Some things to look for with that model is if they're modeling 6 plus 7, it would be better if they just knew 6 and could maybe just write it in a box and count on. The count on model is quicker. And then add 7 circles after it. So then we would count on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, rather than drawing 6 circles and 7 more. That just takes longer. It certainly works though. Another strategy that they can use is a number line or a hundreds chart if you have those. They can use those to count. They can also use manipulatives. And that can really be any single thing that they have. If you have dry beans in your pantry, they can get out 6 dry beans and 7 dry beans and count the total. If they have Matchbox cars, they can set that up and model it with that. If they play with LOL dolls, have them set up 6 LOL dolls and 7 more. Stuffed animals, whatever you have, M&Ms, then they can eat them when they're done. What a fun way to do math. So just look for some fun ways they can do it. So the math today is basically just a basic fact sheet, adding through 20, but let them choose how they want to do it. For the kids who just know these, I certainly wouldn't make them do a model every single time. You're going to frustrate them. If they just know them, let them go through and just have them fix the ones that they missed. But if your child is someone who needs that model, some of us are visual learners and maybe they just didn't learn these, then let them do the model. Let them do it however they need to do it. All right, that is our math and our ELA for the day. So have a good Friday and have a good weekend.